think it's really cool how the coil works, how it takes a magnetic field and basically makes a magnetic field that powers something else and
Yep.
way ups the volts.
Yep.
Without upping the amps. I think that's like a really strange way of thinking of electricity, because I never really thought of it like that before.
Yep.
It's just kind of like, you know, you power one electromagnet. It's like an electromagnet that powers another electromagnet. It's pretty cool.
I'm going to show you a little bit about the behavior of transformers and coils in general using this large ferrite toroid core wrapped with a few wraps of a larger gauge wire relatively, and then a lot of wraps of a little tiny gauge wire connected to a neon lamp. This neon lamp usually needs about 90 volts in order to light. But I'm going to show you how I can light it off of a 12-volt battery. If I was to connect these wires and keep them connected, I would eventually, and actually rather quickly, I would fry this winding and maybe my jumper leads, because there's not very much resistance in this wire. It's a very short length of wire. It's also a very small gauge, so it would burn up very quickly. It'll actually get warm in just my quick demonstration here. And the neon lamp symbol looks something like this, with a dot on one side, and then it has a circle around it. So that's a neon lamp symbol. And see, there's no electrical connection between here, this primary side, and the secondary side. There's no electrical connection. But when you power this circuit on, as this coil builds up in voltage, as it fills with 12 volts DC, it'll charge up this core, the donut here. It'll charge up the iron powder inside there and make a magnetic field around it. As it does that, it's like moving a magnet past this core here. So if this was a magnet, it'd be like moving that magnet in place. So this coil would get a, it would what's called induce. It would induce voltage into this coil in this circuit, therefore, to where the coil is now a power source and the lamp is the load. So what I would do is disconnect the circuit quickly. That would then be like removing the magnet quickly, which would then induce another current flow in this wire, but in the opposite direction than it happened when I put the magnet in place. So to demonstrate it, I'm going to, it's going to be like, here's another symbol for you. Here's a push button switch that is normally open. I'm going to connect and disconnect that wire very quickly to demonstrate what happens when this magnetic field builds around the core and then collapses quickly. You'll see what happens. So I'll connect that side, and then I'm going to pulse it by quickly connecting and disconnecting this side. See how it's actually lighting up, and that's actually got really hot. It's lighting up the bulb because I'm so quickly building and collapsing the magnetic field, especially collapsing it. When you disconnect a circuit, the primary circuit, especially if you disconnect it quickly, you can induce much higher voltages in the secondary side, especially if you have higher windings. So even though the neon bulb normally requires 90 volts to light, we were still able to light it off of a 12 volt DC battery using this coil arrangement. So that is similar to what happens in the Joule Thief circuit, where there's a primary side of it and a secondary side of the windings. It's like, here's a completed coil, and we're charging up one side and then using the induced voltages back and forth to make the circuit behave the way it does, to oscillate, and also to make a rapidly collapsing magnetic field that boosts the voltage in the secondary coil, which fires the LEDs and makes them light up. Even though they look like they're glowing continuously, they're actually flashing on and off, just like me quickly connecting and disconnecting this circuit. It's making the lamp flicker it's just happening, it's just flickering so fast that we can't tell with our eyes. So we're just lining up the template so that it goes down in place, and then all of the connection points of these solderless breadboards line up with the template underneath. Can you show me like what we found? Because when we first powered it up, it didn't work. What did you find was the culprit for yours not working?
I hadn't scraped the insulation entirely off the wire, so it wasn't able to make a circuit.
So then to fix that, what did you do?
I stripped it and then re-tinned it.
Nice. Can you show me which LEDs are the ones that get used and which ones are just in storage mode?
Sure. So right here, these ones, you can see that all the wiring is done in this direction. So this one would connect to this one if there was power in it, but there's nothing. And so right down here, this one would be in use. This might be the bad one. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. So that one's in use, but these ones up here are just sitting in here in storage.
So here's the best sequence to help you get the most out of your quote-unquote dead batteries that aren't useful in other devices but will still run the Joule Thief lamp. First, run battery number 1 until it's completely dead. Battery number 1 is the battery that's closest to the power switch here. Run that with the yellow wire right here in line with the green wire. That's the battery number 1 position is right there. So run that number 1 battery until it's completely dead. Then switch battery number 1 and 2 so that number 2 is in line in this closest position closest to the power switch. And then run battery number 2 until it's completely dead. Then leave the batteries where they are and move the yellow wire to this other position right here in line with the red wire. That's the 2 battery position, and run both batteries until completely dead. That's running both batteries in series until they're completely dead. And then this is really important. After you're done running both batteries and they're completely wiped out, remove the batteries from the lamp. If you don't, you risk the batteries corroding. See that corrosion that's starting? That battery is leaking. Here's another one that got really bad. See how dark that end is and how it's like slow motion foaming? That's bad stuff, because that stuff is highly corrosive and it will wreak havoc on the contact springs and connection points in the battery holder here. It will highly corrode all of that. So remove the batteries once you have completely used them up. Remove them, send them to the recycler, they're done.
A wire here that you can switch for this one right here, and then you're getting the power from both batteries to turn it on. And you put it back here, it powers this just takes power from one battery. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
You might even put like a little switch in this so you get on top, switch it one or the other.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's right.
I used 2 batteries and 2 LED.
Nice, and that's really bright. Can you show me how you added the second LED to it?
Pop the holes in there and put it in the right way.
Nice.